We enjoy every Tuesday here on the Matt Thomas Show with 10 quality minutes with the manager of your Houston Astros, getting in from Kansas City late. Woke up, had a little brunch this morning, and probably getting ready for today's game with the Royals. Joe Espada with us here on the show. Skip, it's Matt Ross. Good afternoon. How are things?
Things are well. Thank you for having me, boys.
Hey, thank you. First and foremost, you gave the entire city, not you in particular, but your star pitcher our heart rate was going up with the word about Framber. Do you have any news today that you can let our audience know about? Because we got some diehards listening to us right now.
Yeah, so, he saw the team doctors late afternoon. So we are waiting to hear from them here in the next hour. So I don't have anything to tell you guys right now, but hopefully we get some good news out of Framber.
Well, keep it brief on him because, again, it's only his individual situation. But was that a case where he was tossing yesterday or the day before, didn't feel well? Can you take us through as much as you can and what you know about the timeline of when he eventually came to the team doctors and said, hey, I want to get checked out?
Yeah, so he just played catch the day before he started and came in and just, expressed some soreness, tightness in the forearm area. So we decided to have him see the doctors, just make sure that we do what's best for him and for our club. So we're just waiting for those results. Hopefully there's nothing that would, keep him out for a period of time. But, we're just waiting to hear from the doctors and see how we move forward.
Skip, you're going to have to go through some difficult times as a manager when it comes to lineups or pulling a pitcher or starting a guy. You had a young man who was called up probably with just a handful of hours' notice that obviously struggled yesterday. What's the wave of emotions for that young man as, he was given this opportunity and unfortunately couldn't get out of the first inning? That had to be a tough visit before the game and certainly a tough one. You had to go grab him so early in the contest.
It's not an easy lineup to navigate for any pitcher. Blair gave his best. He prepared the best to the best of his ability, and he couldn't get out. You only got one out, but we were there to pick him up. The conversation afterwards, you could tell how he felt like he let the team down. But no, I told him, listen, it happens to veteran pitchers, happens to rookie pitchers, but don't put your head down. You're going to get another opportunity, and our job as a team is to pick one another up. We are all in this together, and that's exactly what we did last night.
One of the guys that would help pick things up was Seth Martinez, coming up huge for you and the rest of the bullpen. What was he able to do that was make him so effective against that Rangers lineup?
You know what? Seth just goes after hitters. He pounds his zone. He's got his sinker. He changes speeds against lefties with his changeup. He uses ground balls. And he's fearless. He goes after hitters. He's not afraid to pound the zone and give his team a chance. And he did, he bellows out last night with his performance. And so that, Taylor and Abreu and Belak, we needed that out of our bullpen, and they step up big time for us.
Joe Espada with us here on the Matt Thomas Show. Skip, we've come to really learn a lot about you as you've taken over this role and value your baseball opinion, not only about your squad, but the sport in general. And we've seen another injury. Trevor Story is now going to be out with shoulder surgery. I mean, we're looking at some very high-profile players, including a lot of guys on your own roster that are battling through a variety of shoulder issues and whatnot. What is your state of the game when it comes to a lot of different pitchers right now are really worried about the high number of injuries throughout the sport at this point?
You know what? I really feel like we, in our industry, we should take a really close look at, what's happening. We don't want to see any player get hurt, especially our stars players. So I think we got to take a deep dive into what's causing these injuries. Because it's something that we don't want to see. So I know the league, and I've talked to some of our players, and they're trying to figure out a best way to how can we be better at keeping our players healthy. We, as an Astros organization, and my training staff, we always look for ways to be, keep our guys rest, get them off our feet, very creative with how we train. So, but again, it's something that we don't want to see is not good for our sport.
You know, there are a lot of times, Skip, that you'll go with, or managers will go with a 6-man rotation, especially in a stretch where there are no off days. And I think you're in a stretch right now. You're not going to have one for a while. And you obviously have to contemplate that, balancing that with the injury status of your current team. But do you envision, you think 5 years down the road when you're doing this, that maybe you will start thinking about maybe other teams, a full-time 6-man rotation?
You know what? I think you see some teams actually trending that way. I think that they see that that's probably the best for the longevity of their starting rotation and also their bullpen usage. So, we have done it in the past and has benefited our young pitching and our pitching in general. So I see that trending that way. I think it's important for teams, and we do it where you just don't go into a spring training with only 5-6 starters. There's teams that go with 8, 9. You've got to have a pretty significant group of guys that could come up throughout the season and help you navigate some very long stretches of baseball during the season.
Speaking of long stretches, you've got a catcher, and we're going to talk about this, I'm sure, a lot during the course of the year, that's going to be catching more against major league competition than ever has before. How are you balancing, and what have you talked to him about between DHing, off days, maybe getting a little bit of time at first base if Jose struggles continue? Where is Jose, at least physically, and how often do you like to monitor, besides yourself and the training stuff, about where he is in terms of how much wear and tear he puts on his body? Because, again, he's going to be playing more than he has ever in his life at the highest competition level.
Yeah, so, Yanier Diaz right now, he's doing a terrific job for us. My job is to help him with the workload, not only how many games in a row, but the workload that he does pre-game, his pre-game prep. And I think he's handled that workload very well. When it comes to our first baseman, Abreu, I think he's in physical good shape. It's just a matter of trying to get his bat going. His work ethic is impeccable. He's just trying to do the best he can to try to get his swing right. And it's just a matter of time when he starts clicking in all cylinders. This is a guy that's been successful for a very long time. So it's just a matter of time for us to start seeing him hitting the ball and getting some hits for us.
He seemed a little frustrated last night. What have your conversations been like him as far as his mood, and what does he need to do to get back on track?
You know what? I just think that he just, relax and enjoy the time. I think sometimes, he wants to do well. He wants to perform. And instead of enjoying the process, he really takes the results really hard. And I get it, because he wants to be a productive player. He wants to help us win. And our job as a team is just to keep pat him in the ass and tell him, hey, listen, we have your back. You're going to get out of this. We believe in you, we trust you, and we have confidence in you. And our job is just to continue to put him in the best position to succeed, because I think at some point he will break out of this.
Joe Espada for a few more moments here on the Matt Thomas Show on this Tuesday. Astros and Royals tonight from Kansas City. Skip, our fan base, your fan base, always finds storylines that they like to jump onto, and they call us and talk about it. So sometimes I like to just get to bounce your feedback on. I happen to love the fact that Yordan Alvarez is batting second. It took me probably about 2 days in spring training after you announced it to kind of think about the adjustment to it. And now he has thrived the last couple of games in particular. Let me ask you, what was it like when you told him you wanted to bat him second? How long do you think it took him, or is there really no adjustment at all for him in this elevated spot in the lineup?
You know what? So it happened. It happened right after I got the job. I actually went to his house for dinner, and we had a conversation about it. In the beginning, he was like, I think I was serious, but I'm like, no, I'm being serious about this, and this is the reason why. And when it comes to adjustments for Yordan, it's just more how quickly he's got it prepared in between that bat, hitting behind Jose. Jose is an aggressive hitter. Sometimes, Jose puts the ball in play after that first pitch. So getting Yordan to adjust to that is being his biggest adjustment. But, the goal here is to get Yordan and Altuve most at bat possible in a game. Last couple of games have shown where Yordan has come up to the plate on big spots, and he has come through for us. And that's exactly what hitting second it's all about, creating those moments, those opportunities for him to deliver in the biggest, high-leverage moments in the game, and he's been able to do that.
Last question, we're going to let you run. Obviously, we don't know about Framber's status at this point, and I don't even know what kind of time frame we have on this. And so you are kind of behind the eight ball a little bit because you do have so many players out in terms of your starting rotation. I guess some intelligence meetings between you and Dana and Joe and the entire pitching staff organizationally are going to have to come into play here in the next handful of days because, again, you don't have an off day to kind of move some guys around.
Yeah, correct. And you know, he's obviously going to test our depth in the minor leagues, which this has happened in the past. We've been tested before with guys, we have guys in the past that come up and step up and give us some big innings. And that's the character of our team. We're going to need more than the guys that you break camp with to get to where we want to get to. And this stretch right here is testing our will, our focus, and I'm sure that we'll have someone here to step up and give us some valuable innings.
All right, enjoy the Kansas City lifestyle the next handful of days. Congratulations on the series split. 2 very impressive wins the last couple of days, and we appreciate the time as always. We'll talk again next Tuesday, Skip. We really appreciate it.
Oh, all right, man. Thank you, guys.
All right, that's Joe Espada with us here on the Matt Thomas Show from Kansas City. Astros and Royals starting a 3-game series with the on deck tonight beginning at 6 o'clock. All right, so it sounds like to me next hour and a half, maybe by the time we end our show today, they'll have some news about Framber's situation.
Hopefully.